Hello students, so welcome to DCA. So few days back, I think 2 days back, Military Nursing Service 2021 notification was released. So for those who might be aware, in fact many of you might be aware, this notification is for female aspirants, right? Those who want to pursue nursing as a career. In fact, this is one of the coveted services nowadays in defense forces. After that Supreme Court, verdict that they will be given the permanent commission as well as the gazetted, ranks that can be promoted to the upper levels as well, right? So that's why it's nowadays most sought after, right? So you can definitely expect this time in MNS-2021 exam, the cutoff will be definitely very high in comparison to the previous one. I will be talking about the brief of that notification for those candidates who are not much updated, or you don't need to surf out or you don't need to Google any of the stuffs after this video, because I will be putting all the information in one collection, you can say, including the cutoff for the last 2-3 years. That will give you an idea. So it will take hardly 3 to 4 minutes. I will wrap it up with all those information. We'll try to keep the session in English because of course you have to appear for the English paper, and the most prominent reason is that many of the viewers are from South India who might not be confident in Hindi conversation. That's why I would like to keep the conversation in English. So let's start with that. So what exactly the notification mentioned? They mentioned the exam date tentatively in April. It's an online exam. The pattern is MCQ. Eligibility is, of course, that is female candidates 10+2. You have PCB, of course English. So if you are in state board and you don't have English, you cannot apply. That is one of the criteria. Of course 50% is another criteria. Appearing students, that means if you are all set to appear for the board exams, you can. But after that, after this exam, you have to send your board exam result to the board actually, because they want 50% minimum in the +2, which is of course any candidate who will be qualifying MNS will definitely be scoring more than 50%. They have enough IQ, right? So number of seats, that is 220. Colleges, there are 6 colleges mentioned in the list. You can check it out. The prominent one is that AFMC Pune, and that Delhi Cant jo jahan pe college hai, right? How many qualify written exam? So that's a big question. So last time, if you look over the data, if you analyze the data from 2016 to 2020, they have called 3 times. Let's suppose the seats are 220. They have declared 660 candidates. So 660 candidates had been called for interview. So after the written exam, there is 100 marks interview as well. It's not completely based upon the written exam. 100 marks is with the interview board. That is very important actually. In fact, a decisive one, right? Even if you have a good interview and they are quite convinced you can definitely get +10 to +20 marks edge at any cost. So 660 candidates. So you can expect around 650 students will be called for the interview. That is round 2. Apart from the medical fitness as well as that the service fitness, you can say. Sectional analysis, that is, you might be aware that it consists of 3 sections: general English, general intelligence, and the science, that is physics, chemistry, and bio. All are 50 questions. That is 150 questions in 90 minutes. Of course, the paper level is quite easy. It says it all. Even the questions of physics, chemistry, bio are very straightforward. That's why it's scoring. It's not tough, right? It's not tough. Comparatively, you can say that it stands nowhere in comparison to the NEET exam actually. In fact, I am not talking about NEET 2020 because it was quite easy one. If you take the AIPMT exam of 2013, 14, 15, the paper used to be quite standard one. So it's comparatively, it's easier. You can definitely try. If you practice well with some good MCQ books, you can definitely score well in this subject, right? So English and intelligence holds the key, of course, because I believe that any of the candidate who might be serious about this exam will be definitely getting around 35 plus out of this 50 in science. That means you have to make sure that you are getting around 80 or 75 plus in this too, right? So you cannot skip any of the subject. All are important. You have to improvise each one of this. Now expected and tentative cutoff marks, yes, we will be discussing in detail. Let's have a look over the year 2019. Right, the topper had scored around 128 marks, the rank 1, who was qualified for the written interview. That means after written, she has got 128 out of 150. In 2018, the highest marks was 127. 2017, the highest marks was 115 out of 150. Now, if you look upon this 2016, the cutoff, it was around 103. So every year you can see that there is a competition zone which is definitely increasing between the topper and the last one who has been called for the interview. The last candidate who was called for the interview in 2018 had 97 marks. Right? In 2019, 110, and it is 186. Sorry, 86. So overall, you can see that even if they are called for interview, they have to perform very well, and the board has to be convinced very well in order to get an edge of the plus 10 or plus 20 marks. So in order to make into the list, that is very much important. Right? So this, I just give you an idea about the cutoff mark. So ideally, what I should suggest you, if you are applying for that, practice this reasoning question as well as English question. This day. Till the day we are making this video, right now there is no notification of the NEET 2021, so you have ample amount of time in your hand. You can use, even if you practice the reasoning, let's suppose we are having around 1000 questions of reasoning, there are 21 categories of reasoning question. If you practice well, you can definitely score 45 plus in reasoning section. It's not tough, it's actually easier. The candidates who report for the SSBs, for the officer entry after qualifying NDA, TES or XYZ entries, they actually score 45 to 48 marks out of 50 in the SSB OIR, Officer Intelligent Ratio, reasoning test actually, sorry. Right? So in English section, even in any exam, candidates score 45 plus. So it's not tough. Believe me, it's quite easy. Only thing is that you need to practice. You will definitely be able to crack into the list. Right? So always plan for what I should suggest, you should plan for minimum 130 plus. The attempt should be 150 out of 150. Why? Because there is no negative marking till now, right? So you attempt every question, but you have to make sure that you are getting around 125 or 130 plus, right? So you can say that what should, you are following NCERT, that the best one, right? But apart from that, the intelligence and the reasoning, or you can say the English section, what you should do now? Do you need to go through the grammars of Rain and Martin? You don't have ample amount of time for this to do. What you can do, you all belong to, I believe that you all might be aware of the basic English. The only thing is that practice well. Success is a practice, and that's what we do, and you have to. Right? So you can practice this English as well as general intelligence with the DCA revision booklet. So we have our revision booklets for this MNS, which consists of English as well as the reasoning booklets. Right? And if you are interested, you can get the PCB, physics, chemistry, bio. Otherwise, it's not required. You can have any of the PCB booklet which you have. They are also good enough to crack into the exam. So I hope you all doubts about the MNS are answered here. Still, any questions, any queries, if you have, you can definitely WhatsApp me at 7710548960. We'll try to respond you ASAP. Thank you. All the best. Good luck.